As humans, we get used to things. It's not often that we switch jobs, switch partners, switch friends, switch places. You get the point. It's just not in our nature. We like to get used to things, places, environments, people. It makes us feel safe. But every now and then, we want change. Something inside of us pushes us towards that change. But change isn't always bad. It can be worrisome, it can be scary, but it can also be the fix to our problems. Maybe sometimes, no matter how hard you try to do something one way, you still end up failing. And when you decide to change how you approach the situation, all of a sudden you see a result. You see a change. I know I'm one who likes to explore. I like to try, but I also enjoy finding what works for me and sticking to it. When it comes to technology, I enjoy the best. I like being efficient and productive. As a content creator, time is money, and I guess that comes as no surprise for everyone. And often enough, changing the gear I use is what I need to create more. This is how I switched from the iPhone to the Google Pixel. So I've had the Google Pixel 7 Pro for a couple of weeks now. Here's what I think. What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a brand new video and today we're going to be covering the Google Pixel 7 Pro. I've had this phone for a couple of weeks. I've been testing it here and there. Now, quick disclaimer before I jump into the video, my daily driver is the iPhone 13 Pro. I'm currently on iPhone. I don't know, all my products are Apple. I have a Mac Mini and it's just very easy for me to work with all the Apple products together as I'm able to share files here and there. But I switched over to the Google Pixel 7 Pro as it was one of the more recent phones that came out roughly 3 months ago, so I think so. And I've been using it for the past couple of weeks and I gotta admit guys, I really like this phone. Now, there's a lot of stuff I want to cover and I'm not going to spend too much time on each category. So one of the first things that really stands out about the phone to me personally was, as soon as I got it out of the box, was the beautiful color. Now this black is really nice and I love the glossy finish on the back end of the phone. I have to admit, the matte finish on the iPhones, for example, is nice, but I gotta admit, I've always been more of a glossy finish kind of person and I really liked it. I did a video roughly a couple months ago on the iPhone 14 Plus and I really enjoyed that phone because it had a glossy back, and once again I'm finding myself with another glossy back finish phone in my hands and I gotta say I really love this glossy finish. Now I really like the black color on this phone. I think it's this muted kind of black and it's kind of charcoal. It's not fully black. I've never really been a fan of fully black phones. I kind of like when it has a little bit of tint of something, so this black kind of has a bit of tint of gray to it and I think it's really nice. It gives off a really simple, clean finish to the phone. Moving right along, the Google Pixel 7 Pro offers a 6.7-inch display, which is absolutely beautiful by all means. It's super bright, vibrant, colorful, and saturated. It is great for media consumption, so whenever you are going to be watching some Netflix shows or you're going to be laid back and you're going to watch some YouTube videos, it's going to do the job just fine. I have actually been using the Google Pixel 7 Pro for all of my media consumption lately. I kind of got hooked into the phone. I really love the display. I enjoy spending time and watching stuff on this display, and the 120 Hz refresh rate is also really nice. Now this has become kind of a standard for the Pro phones. You've seen this with the iPhones, with the Samsungs, and now Google Pixel 7 Pro, and pretty much a lot of other phones have the 120 Hz refresh rate. It's great. I got used to it. I kind of don't want to go back. please keep making them with 120 hertz. Next thing I want to cover is the speakers on the phone. Now, it's been really surprising for me. I got really impressed by the speakers as they've been really good. Now, I've been listening to, as I mentioned earlier, I've been using this phone for a lot of media consumption, and every time I would listen to a video, a movie or something, I never really found myself needing to use headphones, as the speakers that came in the phone and the sound that comes right out of the phone is just great. It really is good. I mean, the speakers really provide some good audio. It has some nice highs, some really good mids, and surprisingly enough, on full blast, you can even hear some bass, which is surprising coming out of a small phone, which is very, very thin in size. The speakers have actually blown me away. I love the bass and how crisp it sounds. Now, moving on, I think one of the main things that kind of sticks out to me, and this is one thing that I've noticed is kind of different in terms of phones. For example, when you compare like Apple products to like Android devices, the typing experiences on the keyboards tend to be somewhat different. And I'm glad to say that on the Pixel 7 Pro, the typing experience is just great. It just feels nice. The keyboard is nice and clicky, and the haptics on the phone also are really good, which kind of leads me to my next point. The sounds and the haptics of the phone are really, really satisfying for some reason. I don't know why. I can't really quite put my finger on it, but it's really satisfying. The lock screen sound is really nice. It's this subtle, like, little click. The keyboard, the typing, all the little sound effects that come out of the phone are really nice and subtle, but satisfying at the same time. I know it's so superficial and it kind of makes no difference when you're buying a phone, but to me, it's just something that I kind of noticed as soon as I had the phone in my hands, and I gotta admit, I like it. So in terms of battery life, the phone is actually really, really good. It provides a solid full day of battery. Depends on how much you use the phone. So I would say for a person who uses the phone from moderate to heavy usage, on a full charge, you could get by for a whole day without a problem. I definitely can confirm that. And you can maybe even stretch it to the second day. For me personally, I haven't been using the phone as much. I use it every day, and I've switched over, but I'm not that heavy of a user with my phone in general. Now, I usually keep my phone usage to a minimum, as I don't really spend that much time. I actually have a lot of other stuff to do, including working on these videos for you guys. But yeah, the battery life is great. You can charge the phone via USB-C, which is kind of standard now for the Android phones. I really like USB-C. I think it's super convenient, and I'm hoping that we're gonna get USB-C for pretty much all of our devices. So like that, I can use one cable to charge my phone, my computer, my everything. It would be great. Another thing that I really love about Android devices specifically, and this probably has to do with the software that Android has on their phones, is the multiple lock passcode security system, if you want to call it that. I think it's great having the possibility to unlock your phone via Face ID, via fingerprints, and with a passcode all at the same time, and you can kind of juggle between them. So whenever you say your fingers are kind of wet, we know that phones can have a hard time when it comes to those situations. You can log in with your passcode, or better again, you can log in with the Face ID. Face ID on this Pixel 7 is really good. It's fast and responsive, and I have no complaints over that. The fingerprint also is nice. I'm really a fan of the fingerprint embedded on the screen. I think this is a great implementation from the team over at Android and all the people that are producing phones like Google Pixel and Samsung. I think it's a very good addition, and it's wonderful because it doesn't limit you to putting it on a button. Given that this is a Google phone, it has some very nice perks to it. I think this one of the main things that really stood out to me is whenever I was downloading applications, I was starting to log into my accounts so I could use the applications and use the phone on a day-to-day basis. It was super easy because I already have my Google account, which is basically my main account, and I use it for pretty much all of my applications, and it's kind of my main account everywhere. Now, given this is a Google phone, obviously a lot of times when you download the apps and you log into it, the first option you have is to log in with Google, and because this is a Google phone, it already has your Google information saved up, and it's so easy and convenient to log into apps, which I absolutely love. I'm not sure how this looks. Let me know guys how it looks. This is regular 4K, so obviously it doesn't have the background, the cinematic. This is also what the phone sounds like. So if you want to record some audio with the phone, say you want to do like this exact setup, you put it like on a stand, and then you want to record the audio, and it's pretty much just flat out off the phone, just like that, then that's how it sounds. So guys, I'm outside. I'm purposely recording like this as I just want to show you guys what it looks like when you're outside, kind of like against the lighting. Now let me see if I just put myself with the light. Looks really crisp. I think for the most part, yeah, with the sun looks, wow, that looks really good. Holy crap, holy cow. maybe it's just me because of the natural light. But the one thing I really love about the Pixel 7 Pro's front-facing camera is that you can zoom. Look at that, you can zoom on the front-facing camera. I think that's just fantastic. Now, quickly, I want to test if there's an autofocus. There is. Would you look at that? Now, okay, I'm amazed. I'm kind of amazed by this, but I shouldn't come as a surprise as the Pixel 7 Pro is the flagship phone from Pixel. This looks fantastic. I don't know if it's just me, but this looks absolutely great. Now, I know I've been talking about the phone in a very positive way. I've been pretty much mentioning all the pros and all the stuff that I like. Yes, this might be a video that's somewhat biased in some shape or form, but I do think that the phone isn't perfect. It has some cons, maybe not flaws, but rather more some cons. And I think the first con that I would have to point out on this phone is I'm not a big fan of the rounded edge screen. I know we've seen this with the Samsung S22 Ultra and it's still kind of around. We had this implemented a couple years back with some of the Android phones and it's been kind of sticking around. And I'm not a big fan of the rounded edges. I kind of prefer when the edges of the screen are square, more flat, more simple, so I'm not a big fan of that. Now again, this is not something that's gonna disable you from using the phone. It is very minimal and it's almost not noticeable. I think one of the main issues I had with the rounded edge screen was that during the daytime when I was watching a video, it would kind of reflect and there was some glare from the lights outside on the screen, and that would kind of interfere with the content that I was consuming, which may be a little bit of a downside, but again, this could be categorized as somewhat picky, so I wouldn't say that this is a huge issue. Personally for me, I'm not a big fan of the round edges screen, but it's not the end of the world. Now I know that most of Android phones have all of their buttons on one side, so particularly on the Pixel 7 when you're looking at it, all of your buttons are going to be on the right side, so that is the power button on top and then you have the volume rockers right below. One thing I'm not a big fan of, I don't really mind having both of them on the same side, but I'm not a fan of the power button on this phone as I think it is really small, and I'm not a big fan of the small one on this Pixel 7, especially that sometimes I press the volume button more than I press the power button, which is not convenient and I don't think it's a huge disadvantage. Again, it's not something that I'm a big fan of, so I wish the power button was a little bit bigger and I wish there would have been more of a significant gap in between the volume rockers and the power button. And I think that might about wraps it up on the Pixel 7 Pro. I love the phone. I think it's great. It's not a perfect device. Once again, it has some cons, a lot of pros. I do think that overall, for the most part, this phone does deliver a significant performance and a very good customer experience, consumer experience, call it whatever you like. Overall, my final verdict on the Pixel 7 Pro, it's a solid phone. I really like it. And that's been about it on this video, guys. Let me know what you think of the Pixel 7 Pro. Do you have it? Are you gonna pick it up? I know it's been a little while since I've had it and I typically like to wait a little bit. I like to do these videos when it's been a couple of weeks since I had the phone because I can give you guys a bit of a better opinion. But yeah, let me know what you think of this phone in the comment section down below. Let's get a conversation started in there. And as always, guys, I wish you the best of luck in everything you do, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Deuces.